Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today on the bench I have a watch that's seen much better days. The crystal is in such bad shape that I don't even know what brand it is. I can see that it's missing the second sand though. It also looks like there's some corrosion on the dial. This could be from the plastic off-gassing, or it could be from the missing crown allowing moisture in. I'm not going to show the case back, as it has some personal info from the original owner, but it does have Navy and a serial number engraved on it. I can't say for sure this watch was issued by some country's Navy, but it's certainly seen some action during its lifetime. Interestingly, the inside of the case back also has Leo Watch Company Swiss crudely engraved into it. There's a modern micro brand in California going by that name, but I wasn't able to find anything about a Swiss company from the 1940s with that same name. Here's the movement, unfortunately with the same Leo Watch Co. scratched into the plate. I can see from the ratchet wheel that it's a Titus brand watch. It also looks like a Felsa 279, which would line up perfectly with the World War II era. The movement looks pretty dingy. This was likely missing its crown for quite a while, allowing dust and moisture in. It's also missing the gasket for the case back. At this point, the crystal was probably doing more harm than good. I'm probably going to replace it with a mineral crystal. I think I have a crown that will fit this. Let me take a look. This one matches the era pretty well, and it has a gasket. Let's see how well it fits on the case tube. It fits perfectly. I can feel the gasket making good contact as well, so this watch will be reasonably water resistant once it's finished. Most of the damage to the dial is from the old crystal off-gassing. I've seen this exact thing many times. The last time was coincidentally a Solvil as well, although that one was from the 50s. The movement itself looks okay. I don't see any rust dial side. I'll remove the hour wheel first. It's got some grime on it, but looks good otherwise. Now let's flip over and take a look at the automatic winding module. You can see the plating on the hammer weight has completely worn through in some areas. That's due to it rubbing on the inside of the case back from worn out bushings. The hammer does have quite a bit of play, as expected from the plating loss. These two screws here secure the auto winding module to the movement. I'll loosen the detent screw and remove the stem as well. While the stem is pretty dirty, it's thankfully rust-free. I should be able to reuse this once it's cleaned. The crown wheel is missing, and it looks like the winding wheel is as well. They're not anywhere in the movement, so they were purposefully removed for whatever reason. The gear train looks somewhat functional at least. The balance was a little stuck, probably from old oil. There is still a little power left in the mainspring, but not much. Now I'll flip over and disassemble the keyless works. The combination retaining plate and detent spring does have some wear, but nothing that will impact the functionality of it. The clutch lever spring looks fine. And the clutch lever looks fine as well. The intermediate wheel looks good. As does the minute wheel. The cannon pinion is still nice and tight, and it looks fine. The second wheel's bushing is slightly worn out, so I'll use my staking set to tighten it. The sliding pinion is next. Now this is really strange. Normally the sliding pinion has two sets of teeth, one to mesh with the intermediate wheel, which allows you to set the time, and another to mesh with the winding wheel. This one is missing that second set of teeth, which would allow you to manually wind the watch. I was considering replacing the crown and winding wheels, but I'm starting to think this may have something to do with it being a military-issued watch. Looking at it now, there's no wear that would indicate a crown wheel ever being installed, especially considering the amount of wear elsewhere on the watch. If this was just a regular watch, I'd have no problem replacing those parts, but as far as I can tell, this is a military-issued watch, and I would like to keep it as original as I can. I'll remove the pallet fork now. It's in good condition. Next is the ratchet wheel. This has got to be the thickest ratchet wheel I've seen. It does have a little rust on it, which can be removed. Let's check the arbor hole for wear now. It is a little worn out. I'll remove both the bridges now and inspect the gears. The barrel plating is flaking off. This is pretty common on movements from this era. I'll need to remove what I can so that it doesn't find its way into the gears and lubricants. The fourth wheel's extended pivot is slightly bent. I'll try to straighten it, but it may need to be replaced. The rest of the gears and jewels look good, so let's take a look at the mainspring. There's a little plating loss on the inside of the lid as well, but the mainspring looks fine. This watch isn't going to be worn at all, so I'm not too concerned about its timekeeping or power reserve. And that's the movement fully disassembled. Now I'm going to close up the arbor and second wheel's bushings with my staking set. The arbor hole looks good now. And the dial side bushing for the second wheel is good. Now let's take a look at the auto winding module. The hammer's bottom bushing is very worn. I'm going to have to replace it. And the top bushing looks like it's in a similar shape. The rest of the auto module's parts looked fine, so I'll clean everything now and be back once the watch is reassembled and ready to go. And here's the movement, running well. It's unfortunate someone engraved the automatic bridge and the hammer weight, but otherwise it's looking good. The new crown has a gasket, and I also replaced the caseback gasket, so this watch is back to being dust and moisture resistant. Also, that line by the stem is a scratch on the plate, not a fiber or hair. And here's the watch, cased and completed. I decided to go with a mineral crystal, as they're more durable and won't off-gas and cause further corrosion to the dial. I also left the case unpolished, which for most watches is a good idea. I'm still deciding on a band. I'm going to go with a NATO style one, but I'm not sure on what color. I'm thinking a tan one would match the dial color, but a blue one would be more fitting due to it being a navy watch. Let me know in the comments which one you think would be better. That's all for now though. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.